The project Planetfall began as a way to keep busy on a summer. We had recently purchased a digital video camera, one of the Canons, and we're using it to do other stuff, DVD stuff for Go to Hell, our first picture. And we found ourselves waiting for our distributors to get the movie out, get the original movie out. So rather than resting on our laurels, we decided, let's shoot something, let's make it simple, let's start with this. And it really literally started with a set of costumes. We bought 4 identical Russian camo outfits, which were a pattern that I'd never seen before, and I thought, well, all right, this has something in it. So I got all 4 of them. They were like 20 bucks all told. So I went, wow, this is gonna be a cheap movie, and this is gonna be easy. Just look at it, it's instantly cool. So we knew that it was going to be something that involved up to 4 characters. They would be military in nature, and we wanted to do something that wasn't contemporary, so it was going to be sci-fi, presumably. And that's when it changed. The original screenplay for Planetfall consisted of a series of army guys coming down to the planet where there had been a war. There had been a psychic war in which telekinesis was used to kill people, and so everything was wiped out. It was very post-nuke, but without the nukes. So it was kind of like an Alien or Aliens movie where you had troopers landing on a planet and they were up against a thing. Our thing would be something that was invisible, so it would be extremely easy and cheap to shoot. And the guys would be picked off one at a time. Starting a script with nothing but a costume in mind is not a solid base. So we pursued it a little bit further, and it was at that time that I was introduced to the spaghetti westerns, the Sergio Leone films, which I hadn't seen as a child, and I'm kind of glad. I don't think I would have been as interested as I turned out being as an adult. I think they had a really interesting feel to them. There was something alien about that world because they were shot in Almeria, Spain, but they were supposed to be Mexico and the desert southwest of the US. They had Italians and Spanish people playing Americans and Mexicans, but you had an occasional American actor over there lending it some sort of box office credibility. So it felt weird, and it didn't feel like a real Western, and the attitudes were different. And I loved that aspect of it. And I thought we could take that sort of anti-hero psychology of that and apply it to a sci-fi movie. It was the combination of that plus discovering the first of our major locations. When I first saw this building, I decided that we had something special here. This is what triggered off the whole concept of the movie, because you have this Western storefront, and if you come with me here, you see that we've got technology sticking on the side of it here, and these pipes. And I thought to myself, well, that's kind of an interesting anachronism. You've got this antique-y looking stuff right next to technological stuff, and I went, well, what if the sci-fi movie that we wanted to do took place in a place that was like the Old West in color and contrast, and then you stapled technology on top of it.
It's the belief that gets these low-budget films moving. The belief in someone as creative and as amazing as Michael. To create something that he wants everybody to jump on board, and we believe in him. And I believed in him, so I got on board.
I became aware of the project as like a friend of a friend said, oh, hey, we're doing a film. And I thought, oh, it's like a sci-fi film. I've always wanted to be in a sci-fi film. Maybe I could be a bartender. You know, maybe I could just like go in and be an extra. If I could just be an extra, I would be so happy, you know? And so I went, I found out when they were doing auditions. I went in for the audition. Everybody had their like glossy photos and their like long, film resumes, and I had like a snapshot. Let's see, I was in a one-act play festival in South Dakota, and you know, a couple other theater things, and yeah. So I felt really underprepared for that. But then, you know, they called me up and they're like, okay, well, you know, we want you to be in Planetfall, and I'm like, awesome, and we want you in this role, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's one of the main roles. That's even more awesome. So yeah, I was very excited about that. That was back when I was a graphic designer at nowdefunct.com.
At the time, I was most likely working in an office. I don't remember which one. They all trying to blend together. Sorry, they do. Making copies and writing letters and that sort of thing. But I also acted in commercials and such. I think I was the Great Clips girl at the time. And I think I probably also had a night gig as well. I was pretty busy for a long time, and a lot of times that meant I had several costumes in the car and any particular day, and I would change while driving. But in a way, I think as an actor, you're always looking for something a little bit out there to kind of balance out all the other things that you have to do during your day. So yeah, during the week, you know, I would sell product for the man, I would work for the man, make copies for the man, and then I would go do this really kick-butt movie where I got a sword and stuff.
I was kind of hanging around, watching other people audition, and I didn't know if I would be involved at all, and I didn't think I would be involved at all, and all of a sudden I had a big part. And the director said, well, of course. And I went, of course? I didn't think I was involved at all, so there we go. I got to play ugly. I was living 100 miles away, and I would come up every couple weekends. At first it was going to be a 4-weekend shoot in a quarry someplace, and it just kept getting longer and longer and longer, and year after year after year, and more pages, and now it's this extravaganza.
If after this is over they say, keep your day job, I was just written up in Men's Journal. December is one of the top 10 trainers in America. So if they say keep your day job, I'll be fine. But hopefully they won't say that to me.
I think at that time I was unemployed. I was I was in between gigs as a commercial artist and comic book illustrator. So I think at the time I wasn't even working. So I was, okay, here's something I could do. Here's something fun to do. I think Mike called me about it. We had done Go to Hell a few years earlier, and he said, hey, I've got this other film, we're ready to go on this. Would you like to come in and do something? I said, sure, why not?
I had come across information on Go to Hell, and by finding Go to Hell, I then stumbled across an audition notice for Planetfall. And so answering that, got in, did my thing, and got to meet all these wonderful kids.
My name is Charles Hubble.
And I'm Heidi Fellner. And the weather outside
is frightful.
Talked to Michael, had seen him and his crew performing rather goofy shows at midnight showings. Liked what they were doing, and first got involved holding mic, shooting. I was there from day one, just holding the boom mic. So a lot of people didn't know who the hell I was, because I was just sort of below their eye level. When I started working on this, I was still in film school. Everyone was making their burning, passionate story, and it's only interesting to them. It was boring to watch. It was boring to hear about while in school, and so I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. It was kind of nice to just have my ideas of what I wanted to do be reinforced by this job I wasn't getting paid for, working on this low-budget sci-fi spaghetti western in Minnesota.